Last of Us, Last of Us, Last of Us. Man, we got some serious stuff to talk about. You guys know it's his primary and Xbox channel, but we got to talk about stuff that directly affects Xbox. And you know, it's my channel. I have a bachelor's in Xbox and a minor's in PlayStation. We talking about this because I have been attacked for so long over PlayStation single player, PlayStation multiplayer, and this is going along right with not everything PlayStation does is golden. So let's read over here. First off, we're talking about Last of Us factions. For those of you that know, the original Last of Us had a Last of Us multiplayer. Now, I remember back in the day, I actually wrote an article on the lordsofgaming.net website talking about the fact that the back of the box said single player only. So I knew from there that this game was only going to be single player. So after that got announced, they said that they were functioning and working on a Last of Us game primarily focused on the multiplayer from the original one and trying to expand and build on to it. So let's go ahead and get on with this. Okay, first off, the showcase, as you guys know, I watched the video. I made a video yesterday. It was pretty much saying, the day before, it was saying, everything was here and everything wasn't here at the same time. You know, we had a bunch of indie games that a lot of people felt underwhelmed with, and we didn't have the stuff that people showed up to the showcase for. Example, Last of Us faction. So let's jump into the first article of the day. Well, it's not an article. It's just something that they have been commenting on. So obviously, with all that going on, it got Naughty Dog's attention. And what happens when you get Naughty Dog's attention? They tweet about it. So pretty much they said, Last of Us fans, we know many of you have been looking forward to hearing more about The Last of Us multiplayer game. We're incredibly proud of the job our studios has done thus far, but as development has continued, we realize what it is best for the game is to give it more time. Our team will be to continue to work on the project as well as our other games in development, including a brand new single player experience we look forward to sharing more soon. We're grateful to our fans, our fantastic fan community for your support. Thank you for your passion for our games. It continues to drive us. First off, I want to point out is it's interesting that they brought up a single player game in here. You know, I read it at a second, including our brand new single player experience. We look forward to sharing more information. It's like they threw that in there to get all the hate they knew was going to come at them out. It's like, okay, you're not going to give us the factions anytime soon, but you're going to give us a new single player game. Everybody, go ahead, go home, we're good. Nah, man. Look, Naughty Dog, you people on your ass. People don't want to hear about another game right now. You know, you got a huge demographic of people that want to see those old games. They want to see newer single player experience from you. And that's what you're very famous for doing. You do it very well. But when you make a commitment to these fans, you should have just said there was no Last of Us factions, no Last of Us 2 multiplayer. You know, by now people would have gave up on it. Clearly they would have been upset, but you wouldn't get the backlash you're getting now. So that happened. All right, now let's move on to our good old friend Jason Schreier. Bam. News. Now, I don't know if Jason Schreier tweeted this first, resulting in Naughty Dog tweeting, or, this came after the Naughty Dog thing. So he said Naughty Dog has significantly scaled down the team on its Last of Us multiplayer project. Sources say as it reassures the game following Bloomberg's request for a comment, the company put out a Twitter statement today saying the game was delayed. So it does look like this was a response to them, asking them in general. I don't know if he made this post. I could look up at the time, I suppose. Does it really matter though? This was made at 2:40. So yeah, this was made afterwards. So pretty much saying like, we've heard there's a lot of issues going on. Do you want to comment on it? And I guess they, look, Jason Schreier asked us a question. Bloomberg asked us a question. We know that that's not going to really work out well. Let's just make a statement now because most likely he's already posted or he's about to post an article. So that's pretty much what happened there. But it doesn't end there. Oh my God, does it not end there? You know, Sony, this has been a really bad week for Sony. Now, I would say that like the last month was probably the worst I've seen Xbox have in the news in a long time. But this is getting there. You know, if they get a couple more of these, it'd be on that level. But it's not on that level yet. Xbox got demolished for like a solid month and a half. Nothing but bad publicity. But let's move on to this final one, man. This final one. So Paul Tassi, for those of you that don't know Paul Tassi, he's pretty much like, he's a writer and he writes for Forbes, and it looks like he has been told this. Oh man, live service consultants for Bungie looked over Last of Us factions and were concerned about engaging players. So we can read this. Well, I'm going to put all of these in the description so you guys can go read them yourself. But he's pretty much saying that, yo, they had people from Bungie go look at the progress from the Last of Us factions, you know, their roadmap, exactly how they plan to engage players. And Bungie came back to Sony and was like, we don't think that their overlook and how they want to build factions is going to continuously get you player engagement. We think your game would probably end up dying at a certain amount of time. I don't know if it really goes into when. You know, the team working on the game was scaled back. So pretty much was brought in to evaluate the game. Bungie apparently raised concerns that Naughty Dog multiplayer game won't be able to keep player engaged. So it's like, look, it's like kind of like a little bit of The Division. You can keep people there for a little bit, but if you want to keep a game like that, a games as a service like that for an extensive amount of time, you got to have a good game plan. You know, Bungie has dropped the ball in a lot of scenarios, but they keep getting my dumb ass to go back to it. So clearly they got something going on there. All right, so let's talk about this. Look, we've said over and over again on this channel, on our Iron Lords podcast, definitely go sub to them, look them up on YouTube. We've said over and over again, making a games as a service is not easy. You know, look at Halo Infinite. You know, they had a good foundation, but a bad player base, a bad business plan, and a bad content creation roadmap to keep people in the game. Now, are they slowly turning that around? Yes. And I would say that as long as you put the money and you put the effort and you let the right people get in the positions it is required, you can turn around a games as a service. Pretty relatively, might take time, but you can do it. As long as you know what you're doing and you know what your game does well so you can build around its strengths. It does look like PlayStation's having a lot of trouble with their games as a service. And this is one of the concerns I had where, you know, they're making all these 10 games as a service. And it just seems like to me they're just throwing stuff to the wall and see what sticks. And that works decently well. But at this point, you get someone like Bungie and they're saying, yo, you know, you might do good out the gate because of the name, but we don't think you're going to keep people around. It raises concern. Do I think that Factions is going to get canceled? Probably not. I would say you have a really good chance of this game not getting canceled, but I would say it might come out there and it might be very underwhelming. Kind of like a Halo Infinite infrastructure where, you know, you really like it coming out the gate, but there's not a lot of incentive there to keep you playing. And I would say that that's generally what you might see with Last of Us Faction. You know, but put you guys in the comment section below what you guys think. Do you think this is actually really important? I think it is. I do think it is, especially how much money PlayStation and Sony has generated into these 10 games as a service. And the fact that we're seeing a few of them get really hurt. You know, I know there was a studio not too long ago that had drastic cutbacks. They didn't own them. I think it was Devotion or something like that. You know, Haven didn't seem like it was too far in development. I know there was a couple games from the PlayStation Showcase that just released, like they just started development, or just one, that Platinum Blade game literally started development in 2022. We're not going to see that game for a couple years, so why was it even there? So I'm curious to hear you guys' opinion, what you think the state of PlayStation is too. So put in the comment section below, and you know, appreciate everyone for coming through here. It's been a fantastic thing. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely hit that like button, man. But until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.